Hello, Robotics Notes fans. It has been a long time, but welcome back to Robotics Notes Elite like Animal Crossing. It is January 19th, 1:37 a.m. Let's load the data. Phase 9, Exosphere Breaker. Which one do you prefer? The white one or the red one? I chose the red one. It was the first plastic model that my dad ever bought for me. That's the red one. The red Zaku's master grade model. Of course, Misa chose the original Gundam. I was only 5 or 6 back then. Dad was going to buy plastic robot model kits for Misa and me. Back then, I didn't know anything about the different robots there were. When Dad asked me if I wanted a white one or a red one, I said the red one on a whim. And so Misa ended up with the white one, cheerfully yelling, "Nicely done, Aki!" I mean, the white one is the Hero's mech, and it's more popular and cool looking, but I didn't find that out until later. To me, they were both cool. I was just grateful that Dad bought them for us at all. It's almost certainly Dad's fault that I ended up being the kindergartner that I was. Dad built plastic models. Blech, what was that noise I just made with my mouse? Mouse? Dad built the plastic models for us. He probably figured Mom would complain if he bought them for himself, so he used his kids as an excuse. He looked thrilled as he put together Misa's Gundam and my Zaku. A few months later, us sisters had become hooked on playing with plastic models. I know, super girly, right? Most of the time, our little play sessions ended up the exact same way, since Misa would enforce her own made-up rules. Vroom! Push! The red one is really fast. I'm the best Gundam pilot there is. I'm the best of the best. Beam! Bzz. I told you can't use your beam, Aki. Only Gundam can use a beam. Pew! There. Headshot. What? It's no fair. Totally is. You can move 3 times faster than I can. I want to win sometimes. No, listen, Aki. Justice always prevails. That's just fate. Never forget that. Justice always prevails. That's the coolest. Okay, Misa, I'll never ever forget it. The way Misa proudly stood before me, white Gundam in hand, was so blindingly cool. This is how I learned about the rules of victory, and the tragic beauty that was his fall. I would argue that those play sessions ultimately defined who I am today. It's where me, Misa, and the Robot Club began. So Misa, you better wait for me. I'm right on your tail. I swiftly opened the curtains. Gentle sunlight of early spring illuminates my room. Wasn't it 8 p.m.? I look upon many plastic bottles and figures that decorate my room. Maybe it was 8 a.m. The Zaku and Gundam that Dad bought for us that day are still safely stored here. Those small plastic models are where our journey began. And now our dreams have brought us to an 8-meter tall giant robot. Time to get going. Today's Gun Build 2's first test run. Oh, I guess it was 8 a.m., huh? The sky is clear and blue. The winter sunshine is refreshing. By now, the exam takers must be face first in their entrance exams at Kagoshima Uni. As for me, I ended up spending New Year's without having chosen my post-graduation career path. Post-grad unemployment is pretty much a given now. Needless to say, my parents really got on my ass about it at the end of the year. Once I got to Tokyo for the expo, once I go to Tokyo for the expo, maybe I should just stay there. Things will work out fine even if I don't go on to college. Nah, even I know I'm probably being naive. Kai, what are you daydreaming about? Akio comes up beside me and peeks at my face. Despite being in the same hot water as I am, Madam President over here is totally cool and collected. I'm guessing she's too focused on the robot to be worried about anything else. I was just thinking about how warm it is today. So, did you park your scooter? Oh, that was Akiho tone, sorry. Yep, today's our first test run, so it's finally your turn to shine, Kai. Good luck. You realize I haven't seen Model 2 in its completed form yet, right? No worries. You'll get to see it as much as you want today. Looks aside, Gunbuild 1 doesn't even compare in terms of performance. You're gonna get super hyped, Kai. I guarantee it. Akio's in a really good mood today. She's clearly confident about how Model 2 turned out. Are we gonna have to deal with another huge crowd for the test run? Classic yawn. Nope, not this time. Looks like Mr. Candy learned his lesson after what happened last time. He wants to reveal Gunbuild 2 to the public only after we've confirmed that it runs properly. She's referring to the president of Space Candy, Sumio. Wait a minute. Huh. Mr. Candy. Sumio Nagafukara. Akio calls him Mr. Candy for short. Plus, I don't think anyone's willing to come all the way out to the edge of the island just to get a look. We arrived at the entrance of the building to find Juna and Frau waiting for us already. Oh man. Yashio-kun, Akio-chan, good morning. Juna nods her head, a troubled expression on her face. Frau's clinging to Juna's legs. She looks pale as a ghost. Kona-chan, are you feeling okay? She must have got a car sick from Nagafukara-sensei's driving. Juna points to the Thunder Emperor parked near the gate. Michi's sitting in the driver's seat with the window open so that all can hear his outrageous snores. Ugh, I'm gonna throw up. That shitty advisor and his crappy driving, lol. Ugh, this is no laughing matter, bleh. Didn't I tell you that riding with Michi was akin to suicide? Frau got a taste of Michi's driving the very day she moved here. She really needs to hurry up and get a scooter license. Where's Subaru? Oh, he's already inside. I think he came an hour early. Holy moly! He's so earnest. I'm impressed. Kai, how about you learn a thing or two from him? Is that a request? Eh? Akio immediately recognizes what I'm getting at, as the expression on her face screams, "Aw, crap." In that case, you'll have to be... Forget it. Let's go, Jun, Frabo. Akio pulls Jun and Frau inside the building. Boo, no guts. Granted, she knows better than anyone how this goes. In that sense, she made the right choice. Actually, I wonder if Nason is here today. I'd love to get a match in if possible. Model 2 isn't at the top of my list of priorities. I'll just sleep Michi to his dreams. Whoa! As soon as I entered the building, I met with a blast of chilled air and a completely finished giant robot. Ta-da! Say hello to Gun Build Project Prototype Model 2, Gun Build 2 for short. Whoa, this is nuts. Kind of feels like Model 2 just popped out of nowhere since I had so little to do with building it. That said, I have watched it get put together. Assembly of Model 2 ramped up toward the end of last year. Its appearance practically oozes with the personality of its designer, Subaru. It definitely loses out to Model 1 in terms of charm and impact. The first thing that pops out is how slim its body is. I mean, just look at its legs. There are open spaces in the shins. A complete change from Model 1's chunky legs. Plus, it generally just kind of feels robotic, if that makes any sense. It lacks any kind of decorative additions, like it was assembled with only the most necessary of parts. Basically, it looks like a robot for industrial use, not one you'd see in an anime. It does have a head, but only so it can hold an omnidirectional camera and sensors. It has no face. Wait. What's that paper-looking thing attached to the head? Stuck to Model 2's rectangular head is a piece of paper with a face on it. It's a face. Duh. What? Come on, Kai, use your eyes. Also, it's not paper, it's a cloth. That face is a modest symbol of my resistance. For some reason, Akiho pouts. Subaru wouldn't agree to putting anything on the face like horns or eyes. I asked if I could at least attach a star to its forehead. I mean, that star is basically the Gunveril symbol. You get it, right? Nope, not at all. She should really be asking someone who's familiar with Gunveril, not me. But he still said no. Kinda looks cheap. I know, right? The Model 1 was way worse. Urgh. Akio glares at me, but I just let her eye lasers bounce right off me. Nobody would think that face is cute. Who cares what they think? Subaru appears from the back room. He walks over to us, bows his head in the most half-assed way possible. Good morning. Do you still intend on engaging in yet another unproductive debate? What debate? Whether to build a face or not. She harassed me about it for an entire day. Yeah, I feel ya. Aki-chan's really particular about that type of thing. She went on about how a robot's face is its life or some nonsense. And anyways, I've been saying from the start that we should stop using Gunveril as a base model. Why? Yashio-senpai, I assume you know all about the scandal that went down around the summer of last year. You must be well aware of how much Gunveril is being scrutinized these days. Oh, that. Not sure if I should talk about it in front of Frau or not. The final episode getting leaked. The contents that revealed the 13 staff members had died, not to mention Minami Kogori's message. The Gunveril scandal continues to be discussed the world over. Subaru's not mistaken that this is the worst possible timing to model an Expo robot after Gunveril. But I can't give up on Gunveril. I'm not budging on this. I knew Akio would say that. But besides, I don't have any other 3D models. Yes, I already know. That's why I understand there's nothing we can do about that. But a robot's face is not its life. Its performance and capabilities are. You're wrong, Subaru. Appearance is more than just performance, especially in the case of bipedal robots. Otherwise, there's no point to building them in such an inefficient form. Certainly a face might be needed for communication purposes, but that's after the robot itself is functional. Besides, there was no face during the design phase. You can't just bring this up at the very end. Plus, if you look at Model 2 through Itaro, you can see Gunveril and his face just fine. Isn't that enough? Model 2 is just so uncute. Sure, Gunbuild 1 had really fat legs and wasn't very functional, but at least it had some aesthetic value. That's why I'm saying a robot's face is so important. Don't you agree, Jun? Oh, me? Jenna is flustered at the sudden cue to speak. Why does it look like half of her body is shaded differently than the other half? Like the right side of her face has the PS3 shading and the left side of her face Has the elite shading. Very weird. Way to put her on the spot. Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Do you actually agree with our Prez, Daitaku-senpai? Well, Juna visits for a bit before decisively looking up. I think, it should be cute too. That way it's easier for people to get attached to it emotionally. Wow, not bad for an introvert, Juna. I don't think she's ever expressed her opinion to Subaru so concisely before. What about you, Furugori? I don't care. Well. And you, Yashio-senpai? I personally prefer performance. Character performance is key if you want to grab the top spot. Choosing a low-tier character doesn't make you special or strong, it just makes you a masochist. 2 votes each, 1 abstaining. Looks like a deadlock. At the end of the day, this debate revolves around how each of us view robots and our ideals about them. Couldn't you just say it's up to personal preference? Sure, that's one way of putting it. Look, this is a debate that's been going on since before I even joined the robot club. Arguing about it now won't get us anywhere. He has a point. Neither of them wants to concede. We discussed the face and came to an agreement early on. You have to make do with that. I compromised even though I didn't want to. That face cloth is supposed to be compromising. I mean, I've proven you wrong time and time again. How can you still disagree with me, Prez? Can you even form a single logical argument against my position? If so, I'm all ears. You big jerk. Hey, don't take it out on me. She messed up my hair. Again. Why didn't she attack Subaru? I had nothing to do with any of this. I don't have a rebuttal, so let's get started. I'm glad you understand. One day I'm gonna argue your face in so hard that you're gonna cry. I don't see that happening in our lifetime. Then let me first go over the important points of the test. Before that, Juna timidly raises her hand. Tenoji-san isn't here yet. Will it be okay to start without her? In fact, nobody from JAXA is present. You're right. That's odd. Usually she's here before the meeting time. Excuse me? I guess it should be okay to go over the various things to look out for in the operational instructions. Kai and Jun are today's stars. Both of you make sure to memorize the controls. Controls, hey? If this were a match, they'd be the most important thing to remember if I wanted to win. Alright, let me begin. The operator, sub-operator, and person responsible for the drive system in particular should pay close attention. I'm talking to you, Furugori. Listen up. But I refuse. You what? Anyway, please continue. Ahem. Prez and I have basically been doing all the work up until now, so I'm passing the baton to you guys. Starting tomorrow and running through the month leading up to shipping day, you three will configure the settings. If you guys don't get things nice and tight, there will be no Grand Prix at the expo. Us. Yeah, okay. But I refuse. Enough of that. Sad face. Frau lowers her shoulders. I'll just leave her be. What sets Gunbarrel Prototype Model 2 apart from the rest of the pack are... Subaru pauses for a second and quickly glances around the room. The monopole motors. The fact that it utilizes them is its greatest unique characteristic. By using them, Model 2 has much higher mobility than Model 1. If you operate it with the same mindset you had with Model 1, you'll be surprised by how fast it is. As far as the drive system is concerned, we had Furugori modify M45's posture control software. It's a positioning and posture control system that syncs 3D scanning and the Iruo Street View tech in real time. According to Subaru's explanation, here's the basic rundown. Model 2 has 3D scanners on its shoulders. By scanning its surroundings, the AI auto-controls the robot's posture. Not only that, but apparently it's synced up with the Iruo Street View app. The photos that users all over the world upload onto Iruo are taken with the 3D camera installed on phone droids. Basically, though it may be artificial, the Iruo Street View app is digitized in 3D. By referencing this data, Model 2 can more precisely identify the terrain. The groundbreaking thing? Once a command is input, the AI predicts the future and displays its findings for the operator. With this, the operator will have the time to bring Model 2 to an emergency stop should things look bad. It might seem like overkill since prototype Model 2 is limited in its movement, but even then. This combined with the remote operation means that Model 2 is extremely safe. Much safer than Model 1, that's for sure. I'm legit grateful to Subaru for that. When I piloted Model 1, I thought I was going to piss my pants from the terror. There are 2 controls required to make prototype Model 2 move. One is the command input. We implemented Furugori's kill ballad system. This should feel identical to how Yashio-senpai controlled Tanagashi Machine at Robo 1. Tanagashi Machine 3 Kai, ahem. Subaru completely ignores Akio's nitpicking. Model 2 will only execute moves that correspond to pre-registered command inputs. In other words, you can't just move it freely. So far, only registered commands are 3 basic moves and 1 special move. Feel free to increase the number as much as you find necessary during the setting phase. By the way, the command inputs are more difficult than KBs or the ones programmed in the Tanagashi machine. This was done for safety purposes. At this size, any kind of accident could potentially be a huge tragedy. This is designed to prevent accidents caused by misinputs. Outside of the command inputs, there is one other control system in place that didn't exist in Model 1. That's the laser gun mount you see over there. By sitting by the base of Model 2's foot is what looks like a missile launch pad or a stationary emplacement. I don't know what that is. A circular device that's about 2 meters long, being supported by a pedestal. At the end of the device is a handle and a set of buttons. It's also connected to a large generator via a thick cord. What the hell is this thing? It's a laser beam transmission device. It turned out looking like that is because Doc and his wants. By firing this towards Model 2's parabolic antenna, we can power the robot. Yashio-senpai and Daituku-senpai will take turns operating Model 2 and operating the laser beam. Huh? As soon as he finishes speaking, Jinna's expression clearly darkens. Please take great care not to aim the laser at another human. Yeah, we heard all about the dangers of that thing when we decided on how to power Model 2. Apparently it doesn't take much to kill someone with it. So needless to say, neither me nor Jinna want that kind of responsibility. I could never operate something so scary. Likewise, it's powerful enough to kill someone, right? Why would anyone in their right mind allow some uncertified high schoolers to use something like that? Worry not, we had a safety device installed into it. It's designed so that it only fires when the crosshairs are aimed at Gunbuild 2's parabolic antenna. If it goes off target at all, the laser will automatically shut off. Plus, we plan to make a more compact emplacement for the actual demo. A manufacturer that my dad knows is building a prototype for us right now, so hang tight. Huh. Cool. That should make it harder for accidents to happen. Jenna sighs. She's clearly relieved. Oh, and JAXA personnel will be present when we use it. I've already asked them to stop us if they feel it's even a little dangerous. One problem, though. The laser needs to be transmitting constantly since the output level is low. Otherwise, the robot will shut down. Gunpil 2 is going to be moving all over the place during the demo, right? You guys will have to keep the laser trained on the antenna even when it's moving around. We have no fix for that, sadly. Practice makes perfect. I'm sure you'll be fine since you play lots of video games, Kai. I don't know about that. Having a good aim is key to doing well in first-person shooters. But Kill Ballad is a fighting game. The genre is different. Even though it is also first-person. I suppose I am more suited to be the laser operator. In which case, you should be the main operator, Jin-chan. That way I can focus on moving that way I can focus on the laser and Jenna can focus on moving Model 2 around. I'm happy just being the sub-operator. Jenna hesitantly shakes her head back and forth. But you clearly don't want to operate the laser, right? That's only because I thought it'd be dangerous. Sounds a lot safer now. I think Mr. Candy would prefer if you operated Model 2. Oh yeah, that's right. He's been fond of Juna since the days of Model 1. He might even give us more money if Juna steps up to the plate as the main operator. No, really, I'm fine as the sub. Someone skilled like Yashio-kun should control the robot. Model 2 isn't a hobby robot. It doesn't require skill to operate. Anyone can do it. All you have to do is input the required commands at the right time. You're basically just a crowd puller. There's nothing more to it. Four Eyes. The least you could do is try to be a little thoughtful with how you word things. He's basically just told Jenna that she brings nothing to the table and can easily be replaced. If nothing else, a small anime-like girl would probably attract more spectators. Ouch. Compared to a cocky guy with a big mouth. Subaru, are you complimenting her or insulting her? Why can't you just say that Jun is more suited to be the main operator because she's cute? I couldn't possibly say that. I'm sorry. Why is Junna apologizing? Anyway, personally I'd like to work together with Yashio-kun and do our best. I'm just not feeling up to the task, so I think I'll just remain the sub. Well, if you insist, Jin-chan, I guess I've got no choice. And so ends my master plan to push all of the responsibility onto her. Jin is such an earnest girl. Then Kai remains our main operator, with Jenna serving as the sub-operator. Nothing has changed. Guys, be sure to master both the command inputs and laser In fact, maybe all of us should learn how to operate both, not just Kai and Jin. We should avoid a situation where Model 2 doesn't work because one of us is out for the count. I'm so sorry for being late. Then Nason finally shows up. She apologetically lowers her head time and time again. Our meeting lasted longer than I expected. A meeting on a Sunday? Yeah. Or is it just me, or is she trying to avoid talking about it? Anyhow, you starting the test run, right? Harunaka-san will be here soon, so let's get to it. Go team, go! Nason shoots her fist into the air. She's just as excited as Akiho is today. Then, I guess Fraubo can explain the control scheme next. Frau is sitting by the wall when called. She sluggishly rises to her feet. She looks better, maybe? I keep telling you it's the same as Kill Ballad SMH. We know that, but it's not exactly the same, right? Maybe so, Colonel, but Here, just pass around the command list. Take this, Yashio-senpai. Duh. Frau keeps her head lowered and sneaks a small piece of paper into my hand. Why is she pretending this is some kind of secret? On the piece of paper, 5 different commands. Advance, crab walk, 90-degree turn, crouch, and pose. As Subaru mentioned earlier, all the commands require at least 3 button inputs. Kind of feels like a character designed for veteran players. It'll take some practice, but as long as I get the timing down, I should be fine. Piece of cake compared to KB. The only exception is the crouch command. This one requires 2 inputs. I quickly memorized the commands and passed the list to Jinna. So, the one that says pose is the performance we'll be doing at the expo. By inputting this command, Model 2 will perform a set of moves in one go. It lasts for about 20 seconds. Apparently, Jinna's mocap performance has already been programmed into the system. Frabo, you're still adjusting Gekisai Daiichi, right? Frau nods. We're planning on adding one more kata for the performance. But we're waiting on Frabo to finish making adjustments. I intend to keep adding more moves and the like over the course of the expo. But by the way, we don't intend on giving it movable fingers. Though it can grab things. Sounds useless. Let's just say there's room for future improvement. Remember how I told you all to download the KB system app to your phone droids the other day? You good? The day before yesterday, Frau messaged us about it. I've already downloaded the app. If you boot that up, you'll connect to Slender Gunvarel's eyes. Slender Gunvarel. Yup. The last one was Stumpy Gunvarel. This one's Slender Gunvarel. Look, these usually don't go over half an hour. You can't expect me to be competent. Her name's sense leaves something to be desired. Oh, and if everybody boots up the KB system around the same time, everyone can connect. But only the first person to connect can take control. If you want to pass the controls to another person, you just have to log out once. Then the second person who connected will be in control. Auto-detect? Exactly! That is indeed correct! Despite making endless excuses, Frau really came through for us with a powerful system. About what I'd expect from our resident genius. So, can I move it now? Not yet. It's still hanging from the crane. Prototype Model 2 can't stand on its own. Just like a hobby robot, it needs to be powered on in order for each motor to activate. Then it can stand. When it's not powered on, it doesn't have the necessary muscle to keep itself up. Just like a newborn baby. Without power, the joints in its legs can't withstand its own weight. They'd be crushed. Supplying power gives the robot enough juice to keep itself standing upright. Electrical power will be supplied to the robot via laser to its parabolic antenna. Said antenna is on Model 2's back. Its back is currently against the wall, so it can't receive power. In order to power it up, the Model 2 has to be moved to the center of the building via a ceiling crane. According to Subaru's explanation, Gunbuild 2 executes the crouch command automatically upon shutting down. He also informs us that when we finish operating it, we will have to end it in the crouch state lest it fall over. Alright, let's get to work. Can't wait to see Gunbuild 2 in motion. Nason calls out to us with a huge smile on her face. She might be the most excited person in the room. Even I'm getting amped up. As per usual, Harunaka-san operates the ceiling crane and pulls Model 2 to the center of the room. I'm on support duty for Jinna, who is currently in charge of the laser gun. Junna holds the grip at the end of the gun and presses the irradiation button. At that point, the device still does nothing. It looks like the safety mechanism is working properly. Right next to us is a power generator about the size of a light motor vehicle. It's running at full capacity. This creates a huge amount of energy. The merit of wireless electricity transmission is that this thing doesn't have to be loaded into the robot body. Model 2 was built specifically to perform at the expo, so the generator doesn't need to be able to move around. And so, while we end up having to use this kind of annoying laser transmission system, the robot also drops weight. So anyway, about the laser gun. It has proper iron sights, much like a real gun. I tell Junna to aim down the sights and point the tip of the gun at the parabolic antenna on Model 2. Junna moves it as told and aligns the iron sights with the antenna. A visible red laser beam immediately and silently fires out of the gun. Wow, that's amazing. If any of us touched that, it'd melt our skin. I'll definitely be keeping my distance. The beam hits the mirror surface of the parabolic antenna and gathers in one place through the condensing lens. The battery is charging. It should be able to move. Subaru, let gun build 2 down. Subaru asks Harunoka-san to operate the crane, and Model 2's hanging feet are slowly lowered to the ground. Alright, I'm turning gun build 2 on. The most tense part of this test has arrived. The only person in our audience is Nason. Jack's workers who advised us and Uncle Sonomiya aren't here for some reason. We asked Doc to swing by, but he said he was busy making some new parts or something. Michi is asleep in the car parked outside, and Mr. Candy isn't here either. We didn't advise this to the public, so nobody's here to watch this go down. Which means that right now it's the 5 Robot Club members, Nason and Harunoka-san on the crane. 7 people. It looks much more... Akio looks much more composed than she did during the Model 1 test. Junna, once terrified of robots, is firmly gripping the laser gun, holding her breath and gazing at Model 2. Even Frau, the shut-in, is present and accounted for. Despite the tough situation with his dad, Subaru is nonetheless here in secret. 4 months have passed since summer came and went. The Robot Club's finally grown a little. Subaru, Frau, and Junna. We used their strengths, cooperated with them. The 5 of us, although I didn't really do anything, built this new giant robot and are trying to breathe life into it. Akio puts her hand in her skirt pocket and reverently pulls out a switch that fits in the palm of her hand. On the black rectangular box is a round red button, nice and simple. Is that the activation switch for Model 2? We could have used cloud computing to manage the drive system. Not only would we have been able to control Model 2 from a phone droid, but we'd be able to turn the power on and off. However, after the incident from Tokyo with Robotory Industry, Frau wanted to avoid that. Hence why the power switch is kinda meh looking, but is this kinda meh looking button. I have no idea how it works though. But in terms of creating a sense of mystique, it might actually be just right. Nason, please make the final call. Okay, the activation test is a go. Nason seems really into this. After hearing her response, Akio looks at me and nods firmly. Gun build project prototype Model 2, power on, lift off. With her declaration, Akio forcefully pushes the button in her hand. All of the motors in Model 2 begin to make... All of the motors in Model 2 begin making creaking noises as the drive starts up. Kind of looks like a middle-aged gentleman waking up and slowly standing up at attention. Though I suppose middle-aged dudes aren't the only ones who do this. The 3D scanners in the robot's shoulders shoot narrow laser beams at the walls and floor. Can those lasers kill people? Nah, they're just infrared lasers. Slender gun barrel is wide awake. OS, operating at normal capacity. Laser scanners, loading surrounding map data. Scan in progress. Frau is apparently receiving telemetry data. She looks at her phone droid and reads out the information. Battery charge at 0.5%. If you stop sending power, Slender Gun Barrel will cease functioning immediately. Wait, doesn't that mean this job is really important? Karate-senpai, make sure you aim properly. Us. However, all systems are green for the time being. Current control priorities with Yashio-senpai's phone droid. Kuh! I'm getting hyped up. Blast of spirit! Gun barrel! Aki-chan, you're getting too excited. We're releasing the wires. Ka-chink. The wires connecting Model 2 to the ceiling crane all detached. The scaffolding is also moved away. As of right now, Model 2 is completely standing on its own. Not only that, it shows no sign of falling over either. Things are going well. Alright, Kai, it's time for the first big step. Model 2's control priority rests with my phone droid, meaning only I can control it. I start up the kill ballot system app. I'm asked to register the camera's neutral position. First, register the camera's neutral position, thanks. After doing that, the camera direction will sync with the phone droid's built-in gyro controls. I hold my phone droid up to my face and register the neutral position. On the monitor, I see inside the walls of the building from a position 8 meters off the ground. It's real-time footage from the omnidirectional camera on top of Model 2's head. Whoa, this feels way more like KB than Tanagashi Machine did. Duh, of course. If you move your phone droid in any direction, the camera will move along with it. Hot dog. I try it out, and the scenery moves accordingly. When I tilt it downward, I can see Akio looking up. I also spot Junna gripping the laser gun, and myself and Frau fiddling with our phone droids. That said, it doesn't sync with Gunbuild 2's face. Face is just decorative after all. Plus, since it's an omnidirectional camera, there's no need to move it. Even I understand that. Alright, I'm gonna try moving forward. Go ahead. Gun barrel launch. I quickly input the advance command. It reacts immediately. Model 2's body shakes as many motors activate. It faces slightly to the left. It lifts its right foot up, and its right leg smoothly takes a step forward. The joints are in the ankle, knee, and crotch. The servo motors in both legs work perfectly. The right foot lands on the ground. Just like that, its body is facing forward again. Then the body turns further to the right. This time, the left foot rises up. It continues on and moves forward. It stops moving when both legs are side by side again. Series of motions attached to the advanced command. This series of motions is attached to the advanced command. It took a little over 10 seconds for Model 2 to walk 2 steps. The whole process was so smooth that it felt like something made by pros. I think back to on Model 1 6 months ago and how much of a struggle it was for it to take a single step. So, hey Kai, what do you think? This is awesome. It's nothing like how slow Model 1 was. Nasan's cheeks are bright red as she claps her hands loudly in applause. That was incredible! I'm so moved right now! The technical strength on display here is hardly what you'd expect from high schoolers. You're all amazing! I knew I was right about you guys. Oh, and it's amazing watching it in person. But using Itero really makes it feel like Gunferrel is moving. We get 2 delicious flavors in one. I'm not sure you describe any of this as a flavor, but anyway. It's completely true that for everyone here in attendance, that first step had a huge effect on them. Looking up at the crane, Harunaka-san is giving Subaru a powerful handshake. The latter is doing his best to smile. Subaru is usually calm and collected, but he was the center of Model 2's design. I'm guessing he must be super happy about this. Even I never thought our little project would end up like this. This robot of ours might actually stand a chance at the expo. I truly feel that way. There's just one thing. Nasan's expression suddenly darkens. She opens her mouth slowly, like it's hard to put her words together. I know this is really sudden, but by next week we're gonna have you all withdraw from here. Huh? Whoa, hey now, this really is sudden. What does that mean? Remember how I said I was in an emergency meeting? I think the chief will explain it in detail, but it's been decided that we're going to be launching a rocket from Tanegashima again. The first one in 5 years. Whoa. Really? Talk about out of nowhere. I'd be lying if I said this news didn't have me excited. Maybe even more so than when I moved to Model 2. I was convinced the TNSC would never launch another rocket again. Yeah, and the first Osaki office is closest to the launch site, you know. Which means the whole area is off limits during the launch. We have security to consider, and so we're told we wouldn't be able to lend you all this space anymore. I'm so sorry. Nasan bows her head deeply. We were just about to enter the settings phase. What awful timing. Frabo, Jin, why the long faces? This is amazing news. We get to see a rocket launch on Tanegashima again. I'm super hyped. Someone's walking. I don't know if it's my cat or like a burglar. Someone's walking out there. Oh. Probably my mom. I'm super hyped. I bet Dad must feel the same way right about now. Heh. Akio speaking from the heart. I doubt she's putting on airs. She's probably right about her dad too. He stayed on as chief, believing that one day, this day would come. Akio knew that. But Frau's right. The timing couldn't be any worse. If we had one more month, we wouldn't have to get kicked out. So we absolutely have to be out of here within the week? Yeah. I tried to negotiate an extension, but they wouldn't give me the time of day. I'm still just a newbie, so I have no ground to stand on. I'm sorry. Whenever the TNSC has a launch, the rockets usually arrive on the island months before the launch date. Simultaneously, JAXA and the manufacturers send engineers here to start assembling the rockets in the VAB. The VAB is right through the gate in front of the first Osaki office and up the hill. Given all of that, it's really sudden to have to push us out within a week. To be perfectly honest, this launch was decided on just after entering the new year. Things are really hectic right now. Nobody's ever heard of a schedule this crazy. Even I'm confused. Mason seems full of regret, but at the end of the day, the TNSC is a launch site. This is what they do. We were lent this space for free. We have no right to complain. And so with that, we have to withdraw. Fortunately, JAXA will provide vehicles with which to transport Model 2, so we don't need to do much prep work. But considering we just had a successful Model 2 test run, I can't help but feel like we've hit a major bump in the road. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is another episode of Robotics Like Animal Crossing. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Robotics Like Animal Crossing. And also tomorrow, my friend at evening times is going to be finishing Robotics Notes. He's going to be playing the final phase with me and some other friends hanging out over Discord. It's very exciting. But until then, Nochio! Oh, I peeked there. Nochio!